All right, whatever, Becky. Um, Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is in your time zone. Welcome to the Yellow Card Podcast, episode 17 of season 2. Yours truly, Diego DJs, Diego Galvez, whatever you want to call me, hosting the show. Chris Jones, my co-host, and this show is proudly sponsored to you by our good friends over at StudentUnionSports.com. Make sure you check out all the daily content coming out, whether it's March Madness, which is coming up very soon. The Masters coming out very soon too. Masters picks, best odds, maybe even underdogs that could be coming up for the Masters or whatever. Make sure you check out all the content they got for you. StudentUnionSports.com. Make sure check them out. Shout out to Liam Smith for having us. It's a pleasure as always, working with him. Jonesy, what a doozy of a week we had, soccer-wise. Oh my God. Whether it was Europa League, whether it was Premier League, Champions League, not FA Cup. I'm sorry, Carabao Cup. I mean, it was everything and anything, and I don't even know how to unravel the weeds of everything that went on. So I'll let you take upon it. I don't know what you want to get started with, but let's kick off the show, my man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think just touch base on last week's pod. Champions League picks 2-2 each way, both sitting now at 63 and 41. You got Napoli and Madrid right on that Tuesday, and then had Porto and City on Wednesday, which was losers. I split. I had Napoli and Inter. I also had City, but I also had a draw in Liverpool, Real Madrid, which let's put it this way. It can't get any worse for this Liverpool team.
No.
It's just they're sitting in 7th in the EPL table. That's what they're going to focus on right now. Champions League, it was a pipe dream for us to win it, to be able to stay in Champions League next year. It's probably not going to happen because there's no way that they're going to beat Real Madrid by 3 to send it to extra time at Madrid. No way, no shot. Yeah. So I've given up hope there. I'm hoping that with the Premier League schedule that they got coming up, hopefully we get some major points, including this weekend, which we'll go over in a little bit.
Yep.
Europa League, we touched upon last week. Teams that we thought were moving on, 7-1 apiece. You had Ajax wrong when Union Berlin beat them very handily. And then I had Monaco wrong, which Leverkusen beat them in penalties.
Yep.
So good on that front. I think the big thing that we need to talk about is what happened last weekend. The big thing from last weekend is that for the first time since 2017, Manchester United has finally won a trophy.
Yep.
Carabao Cup in their possession now. Eric Ten Hag and company get their first trophy since Jose Mourinho was the manager. From a United perspective, for you, how does it feel to finally get the burden of not having a trophy off your back?
I mean, honestly, it feels absolutely amazing. It's been a roller coaster of 6 years or so of emotions, transfers, upsetting signings that did not perform at all, a lot of money wasted, continuous years of wanting the Glazers out. Clearly, they still are the problem for the club. It's no longer management. It's no longer the players. It's just what's been all along. What every single manager has said it. Nobody has wanted to believe. It's the ownership in itself. And honestly, this has got to feel amazing for somebody like Erik ten Hag coming into a league that's far more challenging than the Dutch league, coming to prove everyone wrong and coming to take a team that nobody actually thought highly of when he took upon it, and now becoming champions for the first time in 6 years of one of the most prestigious tournaments in England as well, because this is one of those like very first cup trophies that was going around in English times. So it's good to be back. It's good to feel back like a champion. Now the focus is really, shifting again to what we have in the larger picture. The Premier League is not that far off range, 8 points behind. The leader is really not that far off range. Anything can happen. FA Cup still in play, Europa League still in play, and we got to secure the Champions League spot for next year, regardless of whatever happens. So there's a lot at play. There's a lot to happen here for Manchester United. It's a great time to be a Manchester United fan. And you can sense it. The fan base is connected to the players, and the players are connected to the fan base. No better time to be a Manchester United fan right now.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at what United has done in this short little span here, it's quite impressive. So, looking at where they're sitting currently in the EPL, they're sitting in the top three, I believe in third with 49 points. You have a plus 13 goal differential. You have a game at hand on Manchester City. So that's going to come into play here. You're 6 points back of second place and 8 points back of first. Just need a couple things to roll your way and then be fine. Listen, Marcus Rashford's in tip-top form. He's now tied for third with for most goals in the league with 14. Obviously, he's been a big part of this team. But the thing is, and this is what's been wrong with United in the past couple seasons, is that their signings are working. Getting Casemiro has worked.
Yeah.
Getting Rafael Varane fully healthy has worked. Anthony has worked. Garnacho has worked. These guys have come in and they've bought into Ten Hag's culture, and this is exactly what United need to get back on top. So for United's standpoint, I think they're in a great spot because they have now two different avenues in order to get to Champions League. They have the chance to win via Europa League, and then they have the chance to win
the FA Cup
via the top four. Oh, the FA Cup, correct.
Yep.
So there's so many opportunities, so many different avenues. I think one of the big things is that we have to also consider the fact of the matter is that if Manchester United, right, can navigate through the Europa League the way that I think they can right now, their matchup, they got Real Betis. We're going to dive into some Europa League talk in a little bit, but they got a good draw here and they can beat Real Betis. This is a United team that has been playing well. Ten Hag is just getting the most out of these guys, including guys like David De Gea, who you were writing off 2 seasons ago. So the fact that he's playing well right now just goes to show what this Manchester United team is capable of. And I think moving forward, the respect level is going to be up a little bit for the Red Devils.
Yep. And I mean, you mentioned too the signings, the transfers, and even the loan deals that Manchester United have done in the past have not always worked. But just going back to the most recent transfer window, we put our money on people like Wout Weghorst, and we also put it on Marcel Sabitzer. Both of them have worked. And these were names that weren't extremely under the radar, but huge performers, like massive performers.
It was also one of those things that they weren't linked to them for so long.
Yeah.
That they had to pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
So I think the less pressure these guys coming in, the better that they're performing. Like we look at what Jadon Sancho had to deal with coming into last season. Didn't perform well. He's playing pretty well right now for you guys. Hopefully he can keep it up moving forward. But I think the time for the Red Devils is now. They're back, and as a non-Manchester United fan, honestly, I hate to see it.
I mean, the one thing that I'm actually extremely happy about Manchester United for right now, doesn't matter the quality of the players, doesn't matter well, it does matter the quality of the manager, but what matters is the quality of values in that locker room. And you can tell the value of discipline, respect, and teamworkship are there. Like just yesterday celebrating the cup, like they lifted the cup and everything, and you see Casemiro and Jadon Sancho arguing, like hardcore arguing with Bruno Fernandes. Why didn't you pass the damn ball? Like that tells you the level of discipline and the hunger of winning is in such engravement for that culture at Manchester United that's all they want. That's all they can breathe right now. And that's good to have. We haven't had it in a long time. I think since maybe even the Fergie years, because Mourinho was a disciplined coach, but he let his ego get to him, and he wanted to have big name players that unfortunately brought in a lot of egos and bad culture to the system. Louis van Gaal had a decent amount of years, but discipline wasn't always there. And with Gunnar Solskjaer, like Yeah, the players liked him and they got along with him, but the level of discipline wasn't always there. There was always
Right.
some sort of issue happening for Manchester United behind the
Mhm.
locker room. So it's good to see it. It's good to have it again. And it's good to see Manchester United again lifting a trophy.
Also, two good stories so far. Wout Weghorst literally joined this team 6 months ago. 30 years old, won his
Yep.
first career trophy. Needless to say, he was definitely hyped after winning that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the highlights. There was a moment where the camera like solely focused on him for like 2 minutes, and he's just sitting there on the field, just capturing all of it. It's gonna be um, such a side of relief, and it's such a side of accomplishment for him. And the other story too is 18-year-old Alejandro Garnacho winning his first trophy ever in his career at a very top level. That's incredible.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, and then I think, if I remember correctly, I think I read this the other day, but I think no United keeper in history has more clean sheets than David De Gea, which wild to think about.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I just it's a good time to um it's a good time to be a United fan. Everything is working to fruition. Now it's about capitalizing on the future projects ahead. You won one thing. Now the focus has got to be on we haven't won anything. Keep it going.
Yeah,
Just keep it going. That's all it is.
I think now we should go from the highest of highs in the Premier League teams to the lowest of lows. And not for nothing, I think the demise of Chelsea is happening right before us.
Yeah, I think Chelsea went back in time, unfortunately. I don't know if we knew exactly that this was going to happen once ownership changed. I think the hope was that ownership seemed so friendly with the current project that was at hand that nobody saw this coming. But I think if anything, Chelsea went back in time and now they're working on a project that if the current core of players that they have signed, which by the way, 555 million pounds spent already on something that has not worked at all.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one player who's maybe on loan right now, and that's Joao Felix. Not Enzo Fernandez, not any of these other guys they have brought in. Thank God that Christopher Nkunku has not come in yet. We wonder what his level would drop to right now. But this is worrisome, man. And I think that they went back in time, maybe 2 years, and this project's about to take another 2 years to fully develop. So they're behind 4 years in total. And I'm not sure that Graham Potter is the guy. I hate to admit it, and I hate to come off as like this guy is only good for low level clubs. That's not it. It's just bad timing and bad signings. It's what this is leading to. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's not looking good for him. And I can't even imagine the level of stress this guy must be in, considering that he had a secure job at Brighton where nobody was looking to let him go because everyone was happy with his project.
Yeah, not for nothing. Brighton's currently sitting higher on the table than Chelsea is.
Yep. And
So
they haven't lost a single massive value at all year long. They haven't lost some of their biggest players that they have been brought up in transfer windows. It's like Moises Caicedo hasn't been gone from Brighton yet. And they look good. They look like a solid unit. I feel bad for Potter. I really do.
you know what's weird to me? And I think this kind of ties into Chelsea struggles a little bit. If you looked at who's played in net for them, right? It's been a lot of Kepa in the Prem, which is not what we've seen in the past couple of seasons. No. So I wonder what Mendy did to lose that starting job, because Kepa's definitely not the answer. That's for sure.
Well, I'm wondering two things, because Mendy was dropped before even Potter got there. Mendy was already dropped at the tail end of Tuchel's career with Chelsea. Kepa was being the more reliant on keeper at the time. I'm wondering two things. I wonder if his discipline level went down and therefore he became a little bit arrogant, or I wonder if it's something to do health or physicality wise that the club just doesn't want to address because they're already in such a massive spotlight that they don't want to deal with more.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, listen, just to go over some things for them, they spent $356 million in January. They won 0 games in February, and in their last 11 competitions, they only have 1 win to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it does not look good for Graham Potter and Chelsea. I think you were kind of iffy on him at first. I didn't think this was going to work at all, but this also blows the proportion that I thought. I thought Graham Potter, I thought they'd be good. I thought they'd finish in the top 8, but they're slowly going down the. And listen, Aston Villa's playing well. They can easily pass them. Crystal Palace could pass them. If Nottingham Forest starts getting these points with the team that they got, they could easily pass them as well. So we could be seeing Chelsea spending all that money to be a literal middle of the table team, which is not what Chelsea is used to. I think ownership has a reason to do with it because I feel like with Abramovich, he was very strategic and calculated all of his moves. I just feel like the new boss was like, this guy didn't spend any money, so let me spend all of the money. And Enzo Fernandez, who we called wasn't going to work in the Prem, has not worked. Jeez, I'm drawing blank. I mean, listen, their leading goal scorer this season is Kai Havertz, and Kai Havertz, you and I written off for Chelsea in the Premier League last year. So I just, it's taken every ounce of me to not sit here and laugh, but this is an absolute disgrace to a club like this.
But I mean, just look at performances altogether, right? Raheem Sterling, we know the level of player he can be, the level of danger he can be, nowhere to be seen. Like I said, the only two massive producers right now are Joao Felix and, like you said, Kai Havertz. But Hakim Ziyech, his technicality is not there. In fact, he's even more indisciplined than he was before.
He needs to get up out of there.
Reece James, you can tell he's not happy at all. Koulibaly's barely there. Chilwell, nowhere to be seen. He's getting passed on that right wing, nobody's even there. And Thiago Silva is fighting all by himself. Aubameyang is all wrapped up at this point. You look at Mikhailo Mudryk, that was supposed to be your star signing. That's what they promoted as the next Erling Haaland of the Premier League. I don't know what version of Erling Haaland, the bench warmer, maybe the water boy version. I don't even know because it's
one
not
in the
there.
One in the past life where he's playing in his 50s.
Mason Mount is looking to leave Chelsea. Cody Gallagher is not happy at all. Fofana not even doing anything. If Fofana was one of the major signings they focused on this whole fucking year. Sorry, I look at Chelsea and Chelsea aggravates the living piss out of me because they had it everything correctly and they fucked it all up by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The players started bitching about Thomas Tuchel and the ownership started bitching about Thomas Tuchel, and that's why Tuchel left.
Mm-hmm.
You had the perfect project at hand.
Listen, they rank in the bottom half of the table in goals scored this season. They haven't given up a ton of goals, but they haven't scored. The issue is they haven't scored. They're sitting at 8, 7, and 9, 24 games in. I can't remember the last time that Chelsea was this bad in the Prem.
I can't remember either. They're 1-13 in the past 14 games. 1-13. They've won one fucking match. It's just
who
bad.
Do they beat?
It's just real bad.
So they've won one match. Who did they beat?
I don't even remember at this point. Good question. I think they beat
Crystal Palace.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was January 15th. That's right. That was just recent.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the last time that they finished outside of the top 5 was 2015, 2016. They were 12, 14, and 12.
Who was the manager
Other than that? Huh?
Who was the manager then? I believe it was Antonio Conte, wasn't it?
Actually, it was not. It was your boy Jose Mourinho.
Oh, even worse.
That was the year they had Diego Costa as the leading scorer.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
They were bad that year. But other than that, right? They've been in the top 6 for the majority of the 2010s. The last real time that they were outside the top 10 was 95-96. So they're in position where they can literally be the the worst that they've been in over 2 decades.
Yeah, I just again I don't know how all this happened. I don't know how it's going, but it's just bad.
There's zero chemistry both ways, and moving forward, if this team's going to gel, they need to go full fresh. So like Mason Mount needs to leave, Pulisic needs to leave. They need all those guys that came in before, that were there before, the new ownership needs to go, and they need to start fresh. That's how they need to do it.
Yeah,
It's going to take them a while because
yeah.
they will not be playing in Champions League. They will not be playing in Europa League. They probably won't even be playing in the Conference League next year.
I just
It's
again
crazy.
I don't get it. I don't know why. I just I'm ticked off watching the whole fucking thing. I'm just real ticked off.
I mean, listen, as a United fan, you should be happy.
I am, but at the same time, I'm not, because as a United fan, if you look at the names that they have hogged, they have prevented some of these players to actually perform at levels that they can actually perform, right? Like Mikhailo Mudryk, he was targeted by United and Arsenal. If that guy had chosen to go to Arsenal or United, that guy would probably be the name right now in the Premier League, because of 2 actual serious coaches that were taking him to that level, and because the team itself is at that level, right? When you look at Enzo Fernandez, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, United, Tottenham, and a couple others were looking at him heavily. Any of those teams could have put him at a much higher level than where he is right now. And you just look at the locker room that the guy has, and it's all there. I don't know what's not mentioned. Is it the chemistry? Is it the quality of the players? Is it the quality of the manager? Is there just no culture in this club? What is really going on? I can't imagine being a Chelsea fan right now having to go through all of this, because that's
No shot.
555 million pounds spent
This like on this season, yes.
on just one season.
And they spent 3/4 of it in January alone.
It's just bad. It's just I don't even know what to say.
All right, let's dive in here. Let's get back to the rest of the Prem here. Let's go over the slate for this week.
Yeah.
We got I went 6-2 last week with the perfect score of 2-0 for Tottenham. You went 4-4 last week with a perfect score against Leeds. After a rough start, I won the last 6 games. I'm now sitting at 111 and 121. You, my friend, are sitting now at 122 and 110.
Yep.
We got some big games this week. First one, we got 2 on Wednesday, at the same time as some of these FA Cup games, which we'll get into a little bit after that. But I'll digress. First game is Arsenal and Everton at Emirates. Also, last time, don't forget, Everton beat Arsenal at home.
Yep.
Yep. As the first game in the Sean Dyche era.
Yeah, I think with Arsenal feeling the pressure that they're feeling right now, I don't think this is the time for Sean Dyche to unfortunately win this game. I will hope that they do, because it slows down everything else in the table. But no, it's not going to happen. I think it's actually 3-1 Arsenal.
I think Sean Dyche has a great game plan to contain this Arsenal team. And I think that's exactly what he's going to implement. However, I do think this time Arsenal's going to capitalize on their chances. Because if you looked on the last time these two teams played, Arsenal was completely controlling the game from start to finish. They just didn't get that one goal in the back of the net. They couldn't do it. If you're looking at the stats in their last game, right? They have possession 70% of the time. They had, let's see, they had 12 shots inside the box. 7 of them were off target. Their pass accuracy was at 86 compared to Everton's 70. They goalies made more saves. It's just they couldn't, the way that Everton was playing in that matchup, they just couldn't get anything going. And I think, I saw this the other day. Trossard looks good. I think Jorginho's working his way in. I think that was a good thing for Jorginho to get out. Arsenal's going to be a tough team to play. And at home, also don't forget they're 0-2-1 in their last. No, I'm sorry, they're 0-1-2 in their last 3 Prem games as well, losing to Everton, drawing to. They drew to Brighton, and then they lost to. Oh no, I'm reading this completely wrong. So they've won 2 in a row, but before that they lost 2 out of 2. They lost 2 out of 3, and drew the other one. So they bounced back a little bit. Leicester played them tough. I think Everton plays them tough. I'm going Arsenal 1-0. All right, Liverpool.
That was more fast than
Wikipedia.
Correct. Liverpool and Wolverhampton.
Yeah, I think we're starting to slowly see Liverpool get back into their mesh of things. I'm hoping Liverpool finishes top 5, potentially. That's my dream for Liverpool. So I'm going with a 2-0 win here for Liverpool.
It's kind of you. Liverpool's won 18 of their last 20 home league games against Wolves, with the exceptions of 1-0 defeats in January of '84 and December of 2010.
I love when he reads the Google facts when they're on the matches. I love that.
Correct. 100%. All the time. One good thing for Liverpool is that they've kept 3 consecutive Premier League clean sheets for the first time this season.
Yeah.
Last keeping more consecutively between February and April of 2022. Listen, they could have beat Newcastle. It was a stalemate of a match. I have the same aspect. I think Liverpool wins a close one here. I think they win 1-0.
1-0 Liverpool. Okay.
You said 2, correct?
Yep.
All right. The next match is the first of the Saturday slate. We have Manchester United hosting Newcastle. First time these 2 teams have met this season.
Yeah, I don't see much happening for Manchester City at this point. I think Newcastle got kicked in the groin and the stomach and maybe in the heart by losing the Carabao Cup. By the way, shout out to them. They played a fucking phenomenal game. I really thought for sure we were gonna lose it. Not gonna lie. There were several times where I thought we were gonna lose it. Seeing how good they are performing right now, I actually think they upset Manchester City, and I think they win 1-0.
So I will allow you to change it for one reason only, because I just realized this. If you think and look back at Newcastle's last Prem game,
Yeah.
they played Liverpool. Do you remember what happened in that game?
Hang on.
I'll make it easier for you. Nick Pope got a red card, so he can't play in this matchup.
Yeah, but by the way, the whole press has been giving a lot of shit to Karius for being the keeper last night in a final game for Newcastle. Nobody is accommodating to him at the fact that the guy did some amazing saves, to which point Newcastle could have lost a lot worse. This game should have ended being by 4-2. No doubt.
Well, also too, not for nothing, right?
But the guy hasn't played in 4 years.
Yeah, I was about to say
In
that was his first start in, like,
years.
what? In 4 years, right?
And the guy managed to keep Newcastle in the game in a lot of circumstances. And a lot of opportunities. The guy managed to keep Newcastle in the game. It just so happens that United had good finishers.
Yeah, I mean,
That's all it is. There were good goals. It wasn't like Karius left in like a pointless goal like he did with when he was at Liverpool and he was playing in the final against Real Madrid. Which, by the way, I'm sure that's a nightmare for you to be reliving right now.
oh, dude, please don't get me
But
started.
it wasn't like the guy was bad. It really
Dude,
was.
first start in 728 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. I think so. Let's get back on topic here. I think City, is the play here. I really like Manchester City to win this game. I got them 2-0, especially because Kevin De Bruyne is fully 100% healthy after missing that Champions League slate game last week.
I'm gonna stick to 1-0 Castle. I don't know why I have
Okay.
that feeling, but I'm gonna stick to it.
All right. Honestly, I hope you're right because it'd be good for Manchester United.
Yeah.
All right. Arsenal hosting Bournemouth here.
Yeah, I mean the Cherries have been playing okay, but not that great. They are a little bit of a challenge for Arsenal. I'm gonna go with a 2-1 scoreline here for Arsenal. It is at home, thankfully for the Gunners. So
If this was at Bournemouth, I'd be thinking a little bit differently here. I think
Yeah.
Arsenal cruises. Bournemouth 2-8 on the road, not great. Arsenal cruises. I think they win 2-0. All right, Aston Villa and Crystal Palace.
I don't see much of a difference between these two teams. I think they're actually quite even. In fact, they're only sitting behind one another at the table. So I'm going to 1-1 draw here.
I for whatever reason like Crystal Palace in this matchup. Aston Villa's been playing well lately. You know, they won last week against Everton, which they desperately needed. But other than that, I mean, if you're looking at it, they got three. They had 3 losses before that, but they lost to Arsenal, Man City, and then Leicester. Could they lose to Crystal Palace here? Absolutely. So I'm just, I'm gonna ride Crystal Palace. I'm gonna say 2-1. Palace has drawn 4 of the last 5. They haven't winless in the last 5. They're due for one.
Okay.
All right, Brighton and West Ham.
Whatever happened to Chelsea and Leeds?
I have it down here.
Okay.
I'm going based off the score app and how they have their games. That's how I always do it.
All right, Brighton and West Ham. Brighton is a much superior team right now. West Ham is just hanging on by a thread. David Moyes' position is hanging on by a thread. I actually thought this past weekend would be the weekend that he would get fired, which is unfortunate. The guy had a very good year last year, and it's just not happening for him this year.
Didn't they win last week?
Yeah, they won last week. Yeah.
4-0. Looked
Yeah,
good.
against Nottingham Forest. Yeah. I actually,
home.
yeah. I actually don't think this is the same repeat though. Nottingham Forest is nothing like Brighton, and Brighton is nothing like Forest. I'm going 2-0 Brighton.
I think both these teams are going to stink in this one. I think West Ham is going to come off this FA Cup matchup against United flat. I think they're going to get rejuvenated in the second half. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw here. Actually, I don't think any team's going to score.
Okay.
Next we have Chelsea and Leeds.
I think this is the one opportunity for Chelsea to get back into the winning aspect of things, considering that Leeds is right now just under new management. A management that's trying to figure out how to play things. You're catching Leeds United at a very vulnerable time. If Chelsea is to play the way that they can, this is their opportunity to win. I'm going 1-0 Chelsea.
Wow, I can't believe it took this long for us to have the same score and the same result. I think, listen, they're due. This is, if they don't win this game, there is zero hope.
Yeah.
For me in anything that the Graham Potter era has left to offer at Chelsea. So I'm going to go Chelsea 1-0.
Yep.
All right, we got Wolves hosting Tottenham.
Tottenham's been sneaky good lately. They're sitting right now in 4th place, right above Newcastle, 45 points, 14, 3, and 8. Wolves, on the other hand, not much to say about them. 6, 6, and 12. Just barely surviving the relegation zone right now. I'm going with a 1-0 Tottenham win over Wolves.
You son of a bitch.
Same thing.
You son of a bitch. Yeah, it's Wolves at home. Wolves at home always plays everybody tough. And
Yeah.
if you look at their home record this year, they're 4-2-6, getting points in 50% of them. I don't think this is one though. Tottenham, not the greatest in the road, but not bad. I think Harry Kane busts one in 1-0.
Yeah.
Southampton and Leicester. I'll start off here. This is a snooze fest. I'm going 1-1 draw in St. Mary's.
I think a little bit differently right now. Southampton is one of the worst. It's the worst team in the Premier League right now. 5-3-16, 18 points. Not a lot helping them get out of the relegation zone. Even if they win, they're still in the relegation zone. There's just really not a lot of hope for Southampton. I think at this point they're just preparing to relegate and rework their team up. Meanwhile, for Leicester City, there is a little bit of hope still left. They're not trailing that far behind Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. With that being said, I'm going 1-0 Leicester at St. Mary's.
A lot of 1-0s for you this week.
Yeah.
All right. We got Nottingham Forest and Everton on Sunday, 9 a.m.
Yeah. Everton can play very tough against teams that can be quite as challenging as them. They did a good job against Arsenal. If they play the way that they play against Arsenal, with a high presence zone 4-2-3-1 formation that they had, this is the way to beat Nottingham Forest. I think they can do that, and they can do it at 2-0 Everton.
Smell that?
Cooking?
No. It smells like oh, yeah. 0-0 draw. Both defenses very good. Keylor Navas and Jordan Pickford, I don't expect one to go in the back of the net.
Okay.
All right. The Northwest Derby. Liverpool hosting Manchester United. Believe it's the first time we're playing Manchester United this season. We haven't played them since August 22nd.
Yeah.
Actually, so is that technically the season? Is that when the season started?
What?
Is that technically when the season started?
Yes.
All right, so we've played you guys already this year.
In fact, you guys were our first win of the Ten Hag era.
Yeah, so we lost to you, and then we beat Bournemouth 9-0 the following game.
Yep.
That was at United. What do we think this time around? Fun fact, by the way, this is going to be the first ever time in the history of friendship that Diego and I are watching an EPL game live in the same room.
Yeah. Yep. Good luck to me. Good luck to him. And good luck to everybody else who's welcome, because this is just gonna not be pretty at all. Whoever wins.
Oh, I feel bad for everybody that's going to see this.
Yep. So with that said, I don't care if I sound biased right now. Manchester United, unfortunately, is just a better team right now out of the two for you, Mr. Jones. I'm going 2-1 United.
Same score, same result that you had. Okay. That you had last time. So I am going to go a different route. I'm going with my homer pick here because I desperately need this win more than anything. I'm going to go with Liverpool shocking the world and beating United 1-0.
All right.
All right. Last game, Brentford hosting Fulham.
This is the one team that nobody is talking about in the Premier League, and I don't understand as to why. Considering that right now they're sitting in sixth place, only 2 points behind Newcastle. If they continue doing what they're doing, they can very well be top 5, maybe even top 4 in the Premier League, and nobody has even counted them in yet. They are 11-6-8, 39 points. They've had a winning record for the past 5 games, 2-2-1. They've looked solid, very solid team as well. Quite frankly, this is an opportunity to continue showing the world why you shouldn't right off the underdogs, 3-1, Fulham.
Wow. This matchup will have two of the top scoring goal scorers in the league. Ivan Toney tied for third with 14.
Yeah.
And this guy was key, I said, to Fulham's success earlier on in the preseason when we were talking about them in the Premier League this season, and that's Alexander Mitrovic. Still 11 goals, fifth place right now. I actually think this is a very evenly sided matchup. Both defenses are good. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw.
All right.
All right, last thing, Europa League. We got the matchups. Who do you think's got the easiest matchup to move on here?
Out of the Europa League?
Out of the Europa League.
I don't know if there is such thing as an easy matchup, but if I was to pick one, I'm gonna go with Leverkusen actually, taking on Ferencváros.
That's not the Bundesliga team I thought you were going to speak of. I'm gonna go with FC Union Berlin over Union St. Gilles.
Yeah. I mean, I do like USG though. They've been sneaky good, and nobody has talked about them in the tournament. Therefore, that's why I'm not willing to underwrite them just yet. But Ferencváros has a very tough matchup against Leverkusen. So,
match we're looking forward to watching. Mine is Sporting and Arsenal.
Yep. For me personally, the match to watch is actually going to be Roma and Real Sociedad. Two very different styles of play. And two very well coached teams. I like that. I like that matchup a lot.
I know you do. I had a feeling that's where you were going. Best team that could get upset in this tournament. That's the last one for me.
The next team that could get upset in this is actually Juventus. Freiburg has looked very, very good in this tournament, and Juventus been inconsistent, but for some odd reason the results are there. If inconsistencies are to come around in this round of 16 leg 2 part of things, then it's over for leg 1 and leg 2 of this whole entire thing, then it's over for Juventus. But if Di Maria continues to play the way that he's playing right now for Juventus and can carry the team, see you in the run and maybe in the quarterfinals.
Mine's actually going to be, funny enough, is going to be Sevilla. I think Fenerbahce has played very well. They got Batshuayi that's played very well for them. I just think they match up well against this Sevilla team, and I really think that Fenerbahce has a chance to move on and upset Sevilla.
Yeah, I would agree. And I would also think that another team that could very well get upset as well here is maybe even Shakhtar Donetsk. Feyenoord has also looked pretty good.
That is a good one.
So I will say though, and I think you will agree, the toughest matchup in this whole entire round of 16 though right now belongs to Manchester United against Real Betis. They have not had a good record against Spanish teams at all in any tournament. We were just lucky to beat Barcelona in the Europa League. I don't know how much luckier we can get against Betis. Tell you that.
You just gotta play it by ear, I guess.
Yep. All right. Any final thoughts?
That does it for me. I mean, we get some big slate this week. No Champions League this week. We're back next week with Champions League and Europa League. Happy March, everyone, because we're here.
It is officially March Madness for soccer at this point. It really is.
Correct.
It really is March Madness, and I like it a lot. So with that said, like we said earlier in the episode, check out StudentUnionSports.com, all sorts of content there. Continue to follow us on Twitter at Podcast Card, on TikTok at Yellow Card Pod. Spotify, YouTube, whatever else you used to listen to our podcast, please feel free to follow us and subscribe, like, follow, whatever you need to do. Comment, let us know what are some other things you'd like us to talk about. But until then, episode 17 ends here. Thank you all so very much. Diego Galvez, Chris Jones signing off. Until next week, see yous.